You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. This is November the 6th, 2017. With you today is myself, Carl, and the always wonderful Joel. Joel, welcome to the show. It's been a eventful 24 hours for me.
Well, it has not been an eventful 24 hours for me, other than watching you spiral out of control into what I can only describe as the roller coaster of emotions that Carl has gone through.
That is an accurate description of what I experienced last night. 100%.
Yeah, and it was all because you were watching the Flames play the Devils.
I really missed Taylor Hall being in Alberta, and all those emotions came flying back to me. So yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, well, I've been packing.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's not. Just quickly, lots of nice things people said about the big move and some congratulations. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. They've been very kind. So, and everyone's very excited that me and you get to hug while we record.
Yeah, we only need one mic now. It'll just be between us.
Yeah. So pretty excited.
Can leave room for the microphone.
Yeah, I found two really interesting things today while I was packing.
Ooh, was it candy?
No, I actually found chocolate. That's probably been in a box for 6 to 7 to maybe 10 years. We threw it out. No, we threw it out immediately.
You didn't even try it?
No.
That was a mistake.
It was they were like poker chip. I think someone brought them back from Vegas for me once. They were like poker chip chocolate things. I threw them out immediately.
Those are vintage. Those were before Vegas had an NHL team that could force OT against the Leafs.
That's true. I also found an unopened package of cinnamon Altoids.
Yeah, you can throw those out. That's fine.
You don't like the cinnamon Altoid?
How old are those?
Probably the same, if not older.
I feel like I'm not personally a huge Altoids fan.
I like the cinnamon.
I usually just go with gum. That's my go-to.
So neither of these things were the things that I found. You're just derailing me from what I actually found.
Sorry, what did you find?
So first I found my vintage Wayne Gretzky table hockey.
Oh, yeah. How have you not had that out?
I don't have anyone to play with.
You literally have a son. He could.
He will destroy it right now. I'm pretty excited for about 2 years down the road.
He'll destroy it or destroy you. Maybe just you're holding on to your pride a little too tight.
No, I am the greatest at Wayne Gretzky table hockey. I am so good at that stuff. It's not. Don't even worry about it. It's over.
I'm not worried.
You know what we're doing. As soon as I get to Calgary, I'm setting that bad boy up, and we are going to play.
You promised me a hug.
Well, we'll hug, and then I'll destroy you at Wayne Gretzky table hockey.
All right, what else did you find? Wait, did you set it up? Like, have you been playing it just against yourself?
No, I have.
Skills?
We're trying to pack.
Okay, so you pack very differently, much more focused than I was.
Okay, well, that's not true, because I also found my old PlayStation 2, which is not the second thing, but I started playing Madden 08 today.
You still had a disc in there?
Yeah, there was a disc
That's awesome.
in it. So I just started playing. It was terrible. The graphics are horrible. So
yeah, it's amazing what happens in the last decade.
It's true. But what I found was a 1976 Canada Cup jersey from Russia. Team Sweden, number 5.
Really?
That was a lot of words. So
there's a lot going on there.
So it was the Canada Cup, but it was 76 because it had the Canada Cup 76 patch, which was apparently in Russia, and it was a Team Sweden jersey.
Okay.
Number 5.
And do you know who that was?
So, So, well, I do know who that was. So I'm not entirely sure. So the story goes, my dad got it in Russia as a hockey tournament. But according to Wikipedia, the 1976 Canada Cup was actually in Canada as well as Philadelphia. So I'm not really sure, but apparently he bought it in Russia. So I'm not really sure.
So this went from Canada to Russia and was Swedish.
Yeah, so it was a Sweden number 5. Can you guess who may have been on Team Sweden in 1976?
Ooh. I know Mr. Borje Salming would have been on the team probably.
You would be correct if you guessed that he was number 5 for Team Sweden.
Well,
during the 1976 Canada Cup.
I cheated a little bit, and they were doing a feature. I think it was on during the game tonight. They had some sort of thing about him and someone else back from when he was coming in with the Leafs. So
there you go. I found
that's number 5. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I was pretty. I was excited about that. So it's in a little bit of rough shape, but still looks like a jersey. Anyways, that's all. I really wanted to talk about this because I figured that the listeners should get at least 5 minutes of non-Matt Duchene talk.
Well, speaking of jerseys of players who don't play for those teams anymore, I have one of those now as well. Thank you, Matt Duchene. Thank you, Joe Sakic. But, Joel, before we get too deep into my struggles, my weekend dealing, my 24 hours the last couple of days dealing with Matt Duchene trade, let's remind everyone about the fine folks over at ATB Financial, a great bank that is there for you. And they listen. They care about hockey. They care about providing a place where you can enjoy hockey with your family, with your kids, with your niece and nephew. They support local hockey. They support pro hockey. And they want to know that they want to hear from you. They're listening. Head over to atb.com/listens and see what ATB can do for you. Joel, let's go back about 27 hours from now?
Wait, we're not going to relive every minute from the last 27 hours, are we?
It'll be about, let's try to stick to a minute per hour. Okay. So in about, 27 minutes, it'll be fine. We still got half the show left after that, so it's fine. So approximately 27 hours ago, I'm watching the game, and it's the Avs' last game before they head off to Sweden to play the Senators. And so I'm enjoying it. There's going to be some time off with the Avs. So I'm like, let's see. They're in Brooklyn. The Isles have played well. Somehow the Avs have played well. I don't expect them to win. They're on a back-to-back. So, Jonathan Bernier's in net. Blake Como takes a puck off the side of the head. A little concerned, hoping he does well. So he gets some help off. Trainer comes out, helps him off. And I'm watching. I'm like, oh, man, that sucks. They show him going down the tunnel. And all of a sudden, Matt Duchene follows him down the tunnel. And I started losing my mind. I'm texting you, and I'm like, Joel, I'm pretty sure Duchene just got dealt. Like, he followed down the tunnel. You tried to talk me off. I don't know if you were trying to talk me off a ledge or what it was, but you were trying your hardest to make me think that maybe Duchene was just a good friend to Blake Como.
I didn't try really hard. I just suggested that they may be friends. That's all.
And that could very well be true. They may be friends. But sure enough, as I waited impatiently for Twitter to also realize what was happening, and figure out that Duchene just walked off the ice with no fanfare at all in the middle of a first period. First period came to an end, and we started getting more and more news, eventually realizing that the three-way trade, which was rumored, it was Friday, was when it was rumored to happen. The big rumors started coming Thursday, Friday. It doesn't really matter.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was rumors of a three-way trade between Colorado, Nashville, and Ottawa. Ended up happening. It took on a different form than what was originally mentioned. Apparently, Nashville pulled the plug on that first trade. The rumor then was that Mattias Ekholm would be going to Denver. And what happened was we got this trade in which Colorado sent Duchene to Ottawa. Ottawa sent Kyle Turris. That's the guy who went. he went to Nashville, and then just a bunch of everything else went to Colorado. So 7 picks and players on their way.
For Matt Duchene.
And I personally, so let's start with the Avalanche side of it. I know that.
Are you sure? Is that something that we want to do? Should we start with there? Are you going to be okay?
Okay, fine. Let's start with the Ottawa side of this then. So,
let's start with the 2 easy parts of this.
So, Ottawa gave up a first-round pick, a third-round pick, Andrew Hammond, and their 2017 first-round pick, Shane Bowers, to upgrade from Kyle Turris to Matt Duchene and get 1 extra year of Matt Duchene, which is just ridiculous.
Because Turris ended up signing an extension.
Right, he wasn't signing that extension in Ottawa, though.
Because we all know Turris hates wherever he is.
Right, so apparently he thinks Nashville will be better than Arizona and Ottawa, but...
Well, at least people will watch him in Nashville. That's the first time that's been said.
That's true, yeah. It's always good for him to go from this Canadian market to somewhere someone will actually watch him. I don't get what Ottawa is doing in this deal. Like, that is a huge overpay. Like, sure, I am well known for my love of Matthew Duchene. But come on, Kyle Turris isn't that terrible either.
Yeah, I feel like they probably should not have given up this much. I don't know. It's kind of like as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, it's sad that they did upgrade for this year. But I'm happy that they just gave away a lot of assets for a guy who's probably not going to stay in Ottawa. Right?
I would say that that's probably true. I know the only thing that I could think of is he does spend his off season in Ontario. So that's the only thing I could think of. Close to family, he wants to stick around, but Ottawa is not exactly winning helps certainly, but Ottawa is not the freewheeling type of play that Matt Duchene is good at. I would think he'd want to go to a more freewheeling offense, not a shut down trap team like Ottawa is.
Well, maybe he'll pull him and Carlson. That's going to be a dynamite power play.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, those 2 guys will probably play well together.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second, but...
So what about Kyle Turris?
Kyle Turris?
Do you like this for Nashville? What did they give up to get Kyle Turris?
To get Kyle Turris, they gave up former second-round pick, Samuel Girard, and this is the best asset that we got, was Samuel Girard, as well as a second-round pick and another prospect, Vladislav Kamenev. Nailed it. Vladislav Kamenev. And so for me, it's a solid win for Nashville. They have defensemen like crazy. They are not in need of another defensive prospect. They easily could part with Girard. A second-round pick is nothing to be disappointed at losing either.
But Girard, like, for all we know, he'll be terrible because Nashville, like, he won't be drinking the special Nashville defensive juice.
True. That is something that they didn't send with him, a vial of that.
Yeah, so, well, maybe that was part of the negotiations.
Yeah, that's why it fell apart. Colorado was like, gotta send the juice.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it weird that I think it was worse for Nashville when they signed Turris to a 6x6 year deal?
Yes, that is weird.
I don't know. I'm not a huge Kyle Turris fan. Nothing about him excites me.
He is not an exciting guy. He is not the guy that I would want, as Ottawa had him, as my number 1 center. Like, I don't want that. But now he's not going to have to be a number 1 center in Nashville. He's going to go there. He's going to be a quite good number 2 center behind Ryan Johansson. And for me, I'm fine with that.
So they have 2 quite good number 2 centermen. is what you're saying.
Johansson's proven to me that he's a number one. I
don't know.
I am quite comfortable with him as my number one.
Would you rather Turris or James Neal?
Turris.
Yeah. You know what they could be? They could have Turris and Neal and not Nick Bonino.
Well, possible. Well, no, because I'm sure they could have found someone else to expose in that expansion draft. Sure.
Oh, for sure. And they could have given a second in Gerard for them to keep him.
Yeah, but then you would have had to go and give Neal another contract, which I'm sure he wouldn't have been disappointed to stay or get paid. He seemed to fit in well there. But James Neal, 30 years old. I think if you're looking at like giving out that kind of money, I'd much rather be handing a 6-year deal to a much younger 28-year-old Kyle Turris than a 30-year-old James Neal.
Much younger is a bit of a stretch there.
But I just like James Neal.
Much younger.
James Neal every single year gets hurt. He has the health of a much older individual.
I don't know. Kyle Turris ain't that good. He's okay. He's like, I don't know. He hasn't even never scored 30 goals. I don't know. He's okay. He's like whatever. I'm like, it's not bad for the Nashville Predators, but I'm not excited about this. I don't think like we're about to get to your Colorado Avalanche side of this deal, but for me, nobody won this trade.
See, I think Nashville came out first, Colorado second, and Ottawa a very distant third.
Well, Colorado lost for sure. If you're excited that you want to trade with Kyle Turris, you lost the trade. Let me tell you, that's going to be at the end of the Kyle Turris era in Nashville. Everyone's going to be like, well, that was pretty not exciting, and maybe we should wish they weren't actually there. But okay, so tell me about all these 7 assets that the Colorado Avalanche got and why this was. Are you happy about it, Carl, or are you?
I think I'm happy. Obviously, like Duchene, when he got drafted for a lengthy period of time, was my favorite Avalanche. He was my favorite player on the team, and then obviously that turned south last year. Apparently, it came out that he requested a trade last Christmas.
Mm-hmm. So it took him a year.
That's how long it's been since he's wanted out. And what was most telling about the situation was the quote from Captain Gabriel Landeskog after the game. He said, obviously everyone's being asked about it, right? Sure, they lost 5-2. Matthew Barzal had 5 assists. Everyone's talking about that. But the story of the game was Duchene getting pulled and getting traded. And so they're talking to him after the game, and the captain is usually expected to say some sort of, he's the one that you look to. And so his comment was that they're focused on winning games with the players who want to be on the team, which I think is a telling statement that he's done with guys who don't want to be there. If you don't want to be there, good riddance. We're gonna ride this out with the guys. And I like, I'm fine with that. Duchene didn't want to be there. Good. He can go and roll with the guys you have. So from that perspective, I like that Landeskog is defending the players they have. Now, as for the pieces they got, so there's 7 of them, 3 picks, a first, a second, a third. I like draft picks. If you do well with those, then you win. That's how you build a good team, right?
And whose first did you get?
We got Ottawa's first.
Okay. Oh, I was like, actually, probably doesn't. That's actually the one you want probably most. But it's going to be 20 or higher.
Yeah, it's technically top 10 protected for this year only.
Don't worry about that one.
So
it's not going to matter.
Right. But that shows how much confidence Ottawa has in their team. They're like, you know what? This might fall apart on us, which is also a terrible reason to go out and trade for Matt. Like, if you're making this trade for Duchene, you're like, also, we might finish out of the playoffs and end up in the draft lottery. maybe don't do that trade, Ottawa. Maybe.
Well,
And yeah, a second and a third, whatever. Picks are good. Seconds and thirds can be used in all kinds of fun ways to do all kinds of things. So fine with that. Andrew Hammond, goaltender who's had some success. To me, that's really a nothing pickup. Like, would I rather him than Jonathan Bernier? Probably, but we're talking about what do I want with my second and third string goalies? That's not an asset. I know some people were talking about maybe they flip him. If they flip him, it's for like a 5th or a 6th round pick. Like,
you're not going to get anything for Andrew.
No,
we're okay. Here's the question: would you rather Hammond or Picard?
Picard.
Yeah. So Picard was a goalie that went through waivers and no one picked up for free.
Yeah.
So no one's trading anything for Andrew Hammond.
Correct. So there's that side. So now that brings us to the prospect side of it. Shane Bowers, from what I can tell, a quality centerman. We also got Gerard, who is a smaller defenseman. I think what we're going to be needing to look to add, we've now added in Cale Maker last year in the draft, and now with Gerard, 2 very skilled, undersized defensemen. So we're going to have to make sure you pair that with Tyson Barrie, and that's 3 of them. And so we'll have to we can't have Eric Johnson playing on all 3 pairings. So we either need Nikita Zadorov to step up, Chris Bigraw to step up. We need someone else to fill in those so that we can have some size to go with the skill. However, I like it, and frankly, as much as everyone laughed at what Colorado has done and at how terrible Joe Sakic has been at handling the situation, I think I'm pleased. Like, I'm not as pleased as the majority. I saw a poll out there today. It's like, who won this trade? And I think it was 40% of people said Colorado won this trade. And then it was like 30-30. I'm not there. I'm not as sold on this. And it could be the fact that I have like my just natural tendency to not get overly excited about things like this. But then at the same time, I know I like the trade way more for the Avalanche than you do. So I think from both of those perspectives, I'm hedging my bets. I'm looking forward. I hope it goes well for them, obviously. But time will tell.
I don't mind it for the Avalanche. I just don't think there's a whole lot you can say about it. That was more my thoughts on it. Is you just kind of like, you're so far out on these guys.
Like, we won't have an idea for 3 years.
Yeah.
Who wins this trade?
The fact that you got 7 pieces and they're not 7 Andrew Hammonds. Like, if you had gotten just like, because like, so like during the Leafs rebuild, there was a trade. They traded when they got Grabner from the Islanders. They sent 6 contracts, all guys who were basically nothing. And it was like,
I'm glad that they valued Matt Duchene higher than Michael Grabner.
Right, and that's the thing. But like I would have been worried about what Sakic was actually going to get, because he waited so long. Everyone knew that he was getting desperate to move him. Because he's got a year and a half now?
Yeah, end of next year it expires. And I don't know if it's just coincidental timing, but it does seem like now the way that the trade went down, it seems like they really wanted to make this trade happen because it was starting to get close to it. To me, it seems a little bit like they wanted to get it done before they headed off to Sweden, which is weird as well because they traded him to the team they're facing in Sweden. So literally, like, Duchene left. He was out of the arena by the end of the second period. He was off to the airport to fly to Ottawa for practice, only to fly to Sweden to face his old team.
Yeah, my guess is that this trade has been in the talks for months, probably since preseason.
Well, I know Dorian GM of the Senators was saying this morning that he was in talks with Nashville about Turris since the offseason. So
yeah, so that's not surprising.
And there's been rumors of Ottawa being in this. The one thing that as much as I say that I hate this trade for Ottawa, they kept their two best prospects. And so, like, maybe I don't hate it as much, right?
No, you do hate it. Like, this is just, I don't know, whatever. It's kind of, I think everyone loses. Like, and then maybe Colorado wins, like, 6 years from now. But, like, there's no way to tell. Like, I don't know. I really don't like undersized defensemen. So, like, I had heard, like, lukewarm things about the Girard guy already. But now if we're looking at him as, like, I hate undersized defensemen. I don't mind them as forwards. They can do well as forwards. But, like, you just don't want a small guy on defense. Like, I don't know. But the first round pick, it's all about how the bigger question is, like, what else does Colorado do? Like, do they actually go full rebuild, or do they feel like they have a close enough team to move forward?
I feel like this is it. Like, this is the move. Because if you look at the rest of that team, there's maybe a few minor pieces that would get tweaked, and there's going to be tweaking along the way. But you look at that team. So you've got up front, you've got the core of Landeskog and McKinnon. On the back end, you've got Eric Johnson signed long term. You've got Tyson Barrie for another 3 years, and we know that negotiation was not nice, partially due to the fact of former head coach, Mr. Patrick Waugh, who did not want Tyson Barrie around. Yeah. So, like, if we can keep those guys, I think that is what you should be looking at as the core of, like, established players already there. Then you add Mikko Rantanen, who has been phenomenal so far this year. Tyson Jost, he's been hurt, but when he's been in the lineup, he has looked great. JT Compher's looked good. Alex Kerfoot, college guy that everyone, we poo-pooed. It was like, college guys are irrelevant. We don't need to get excited about that. But he has been quite good so far this year. So these are all guys that I look at and I'm like, there is something here that can grow into this. And, having those core of guys, there's 4 guys that are still on their entry-level deals that we're looking at and saying, these are guys that Colorado should have in their top, I guess that's 4 guys. You add them with McKinnon, Landeskog. I would hope that could be a top 6 moving forward. So if I look at that and I'm like, the top 6 is already on this team, I don't expect them to make any other moves.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Also, that almost makes me hate this even more than for the Avalanche. If you're saying this is the move that's going to kind of move it to the next place, then why would they make a move that's going to pull you back? Like, this is a move for 3 years down the road, but. I don't think that they wanted to make this trade, but anyways. It'll be. So we'll see, but it was big. Duchene finally gone. Carl is surprisingly calm about this.
I was far from calm yesterday. I was literally shaking.
You're pretty calm right now, so that's okay.
Well, I'm a little happy. Are
you gonna retire the Duchene jersey?
I did. I wore it one last time last night, and I think I'm done. Hang it up.
Which I'm a little disappointed in you, because you just became like all Rough Rider fans.
It felt weird, and the only reason I was okay wearing a jersey, I went to the Devils Flames game, wore my Duchene jersey. One, in mourning, it was part of my grieving process, because literally he got traded like a half hour before I walked out the door to go for dinner before the game, and I was not ready. I had not fully processed this yet. And I needed that moment. So,
well, you can celebrate with all Rough Rider fans. And
how dare you compare me to them?
It's not how dare I. It's what they do. That is, you broke the Rough Rider rule.
But they just do it because they are. Like, I had a legitimate reason. They do it because that's the only thing that they have to live for.
No, I disagree. That's anytime I see a jersey from like a jersey being worn that is not one of the two teams playing, it is the Rough Rider rule. Because that's what they do. They wear their. So I was at the Seahawks game on like last Sunday. Saw a Rough Rider jersey in the stands.
But see, like, They have no reason other than like, this is the only sports team I care about. I had a reason, Joel. I was sad.
I get that you were sad. It doesn't excuse that I'm disappointed that you did that. But I understand why you did it, but I can't bring myself to do that.
Okay, let's change the topic before I get actually upset here.
Go CFL.
All right, Joel, let's talk about something that instead of making me sad, let's make you sad for a second. Your Toronto Maple Leafs on a bit of a, would you call it a tailspin?
They won tonight, so no.
So they've stopped.
We're out of it.
Before this, was it a tailspin?
It was a rough patch. We're going to call it a rough patch.
Okay. I think you could call it a tough West Coast road trip?
Yeah, it's just...
Did you call it one of those?
You call it one of those. You call it the young team learning some valuable lessons. I don't know.
So what lessons were needed to be learned, and did they learn them?
I don't know. Someone needs to teach Mike Babcock a lesson, though. that Matt Martin shouldn't be playing with Mitch Marner. Like, that's not a thing that should be. Oh, it's miserable. How do you feel? I don't know. I should, like, or maybe I should get some, because, like, I've been a Leafs fan for a long time, and they've just been miserable. And you know they're going to be miserable. But, like, it's not when they should be playing better than they are, and they're losing. This is a whole new thing for me. I have never experienced this in my life before, where a team that should be playing better than they are is playing just awful.
I'm with you in regards to the lines. I do not understand what Babcock's doing. Like, and all of Leafs fandom is in the same boat, but you have last year, I think we all appreciated the depth that the Leafs had up front, and I still do. But you now take those lines, and you're like, man, like, he's spread out that offense. Now he's spread it out even more. Tonight, JVR was on the wing with Dominic Moore and Mr. Connor Brown.
Yeah.
Then you put, like you mentioned, Marner with Bozak and Matt Martin. Bozak playing terrible hockey right now, and you want Mitchie to snap out of it? Put him with someone good.
Yeah, like I'd sure like to see Nylander move to center, Matthews and Marner play together, I don't something. But they won tonight, so that's okay.
Dream lineup. You have Nylander move to center. Like,
yeah, so you got
Kadri on the third line then.
Yeah, so like Kadri, Brown, Kapanen. It's your third line. Matthews, Marner. I know Zach Hyman is forever going to play with Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
which is just,
he's his Chris Kunitz. It's fine.
So, you count whatever about that. Then you got, like, what? Yeah. Nylander, Marlowe. I don't know who you, JVR. Then you go Bozak, Matt Martin, Josh Leivo.
It's a great lineup right there.
That's how you win hockey games. I should be the coach.
Yeah, but Mr. Bat, what is his logic in this? Is there any?
There is. Don't question Babs.
That's the logic.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm buying our time. We're back home. We're gonna win some games. That's why I'm wearing my Leafs are actually good hoodie.
Okay.
To like just show the confidence that I have in my team. But it's been tough sledding.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about Freddie?
Ugh. I don't think. Like, it's the defense. The Leafs' defense is so bad. It's so bad. I don't know. There's, like, not even one good guy on that defense.
Really? Not a fan of Mr. Morgan Riley this year?
Morgan Riley's, like, he's never as good as you want him to be. The best defenseman on this team is Zaitsev, and it's not really close. So, but, I don't know. It's been kind of weird hockey lately. Don't you think? I feel like there's a lot of weird games.
It has been weird, and watching those Leafs games was super strange. Like the game against the Kings was weird.
Just everything's weird.
Tonight's game was kind of weird. Like, would you be in favor of obviously you're in favor of getting rid of McElhinney, but getting either Calvin Pickard or Garrett Sparks up to play a little game, spell off Freddie.
Well, Freddie's only so we played 16 games and Freddie's has played 14. So it should be you probably shouldn't be doing that, playing that much. He's on pace for a lot of games.
And the only goalies who should be playing that much, like the guys you see doing that are, Braden Holtby the year that he went off, Henrik Lundqvist the year he's gone off, and Freddie Anderson's good, but he's not that good.
But you don't need him to be that good.
No, you don't.
We have competent backups that are not McElhinney. Let him play. So, okay. So speaking of weird, it's weird that let me just. So here are teams that are in the playoffs. Let me just go through this for you to show you how weird this season is so far. These are all teams that are currently in a playoff position. The New Jersey Devils.
Heard of them.
The New York Islanders.
Yep.
The Washington Capitals, barely in a playoff position. Winnipeg Jets. Your Colorado Avalanche.
Woo!
With 16 points in a playoff position. The Vegas Golden Knights. The Vancouver Canucks. And your defending Western Conference champions holding on to that wild card for dear life.
That's how they get in.
So here's teams sitting out of the playoffs. Edmonton, Minnesota, Anaheim, Chicago, New York. I don't know. You kind of look at the East, all the teams that are out of it, you're just kind of like, yeah, I can buy that.
The East I can buy, right? The Rangers, we saw that coming.
Yeah.
The Habs, you have a bad year from Carey Price, you're going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone else in that list, let's not talk about my bandwagon Hurricanes right now. I am learning exactly what it's like to be a Carolina Hurricanes fan. It's not fun, Joel.
I told you. Did I not warn you?
Yeah. It's I have been watching games. I watched them lose to the Arizona Coyotes on the weekend. That's not good.
Yeah, so but the West is interesting. Did you so if I had told you that in November the Flames, Hawks, Ducks, Wild, and Oilers would all be out of the playoffs,
I would have laughed at you.
Right?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
The Oilers look miserable. I don't know if you have watched much. I watched parts of the Oilers Wings game on Sunday. And they don't have any desire is the only way I can describe it. When something bad happens and it's like they forgot that they were able to win hockey games last year, because this is the exact same attitude that I saw from the Oilers 2 years ago. That team that gets down and they're like, well, we're the Oilers, we're just going to lose. It's the exact same thing that's happening all over again. And I cannot explain what is happening. It's befuddling to me how this team can go from being so good last year, have such great potential going forward. And sure, they did make some bad moves. This team got worse in the offseason, but not this worse.
I don't know, man. They're if they're sitting at the bottom of this division or this conference, in December, mid-December, end of December, you're quickly falling into a place where it's too late to recover.
Oh, for sure.
And they're bad. They're bad. You just but hey, Arizona's won a couple games.
If Arizona can win a couple games, Edmonton can win a couple games. That's the attitude we should all be having.
That's so. Anyways, you mentioned Mr. Carey Price.
Yeah.
I think he's going to turn it around. Once he gets back from his injury, he's going to be A-okay.
See, here's my concern with Mr. Carey Price. We have seen Carey Price get hurt in the past, right? We've all seen it. We've all been there. Montreal fans remember quite vividly what happens when Carey Price gets hurt. They don't make the playoffs. And last time he was hurt, like, he came back, he'd return to practice, and then he'd be gone again. And then he'd return to practice, and he'd be gone again. And then all of a sudden he's out for the year. Carey Price is not a guy that I trust to be until proven that he can. I do not trust Carey Price and or the Montreal Canadiens medical staff to be competent evaluators of his health.
Is Carey Price like beyond like the how? Like he just tells the doctors how it is. Like, so no one actually, like, everyone's like, you know what, maybe, Carey, you shouldn't play tonight, or like, hey, maybe we should do this to help you recover. And he's just like, no, I'm Carey Price. I know what's best for Carey Price.
If he is, then it explains a lot. Because as far as I know, Carey Price, amazing goaltender, not a doctor.
Carey Price don't take advice from doctors. Do you think he talks in third person like that?
And incredibly belittling towards everyone around him.
Yeah.
Look, don't walk in here telling Carey Price what to do with his lower body. I know what to do.
Yeah,
I've had this lower body my whole life.
Yeah, I think I'm a supporter. So, well, I hope you're wrong, Carl.
Why?
Well, you know why.
Are you suddenly? Do you have a Montreal Canadiens shirt under that Maple Leafs Actually Good hoodie?
I do not.
Is that the real Joel's Big News? Were you burying the lead last week?
No. Carl, there's a big trade that happened. Bigger than the Matt Duchene trade.
No. But it did shake the league in a similar way.
Yeah, so the Fourth Line Fantasy Hockey League had its first trade.
Dun, da, da, da.
It was a big one. It was a big one.
It somehow managed to have less players involved than the Avalanche. I guess, no, there's more players involved. But
it's 10 players. 10 players.
10 players.
5 going each side. So, Mr. Tiny and I traded away Alex Ovechkin, Corey Perry,
Canada. I'm playing Joel's game as we go.
Ricard Raquel,
Sweden,
Mr. Ian Provorov,
Russia,
and Carl's favorite goalie of all time, Sergio Varlamov.
Russian.
I don't know. Is he?
Yeah, he is Russian. I actually got every single one of those right.
There you go. Look at you being a boss. So that's who we traded away. Seems like a lot.
That's a haul. Ovi, Perry, Provorov, Varlamov,
and Raquel. So Raquel and Ovi by far the two best players that we dealt away.
So far this year, yeah, for sure.
And will be at the end of the year.
Not a Corey Perry fan, are you?
Corey Perry, I don't like saying these things. Has the trade actually gone through?
Yes.
We were about to drop Corey Perry.
Oh, my. Which is a little offensive
good.
Considering what you were asking me for Corey Perry earlier in the week.
Did we actually ask something for Corey Perry?
Yeah, you wanted Corey Perry for who's on my team? Anyways,
I don't believe this.
Yes, I'll pull up who you are.
I don't believe that. So we got Carl's favorite right winger, TJ Oshie.
Former favorite right winger.
We got Mr. Johnny Hockey, Jonathan Gaudreau.
Mm-hmm.
We got my favorite Leafs defenseman, Morgan Riley.
I thought we literally just talked about this.
Yeah, but he's good in fantasy. He gets those points.
Because you literally did you not? Never mind. Finish this.
Yeah.
So
I don't like Morgan Rielly right now, but he will be better. He will be better than Provorov by the end of the year, so that's not a problem.
Okay, so you've got Oshie, you've got Johnny Hockey, you've got Morgan Rielly.
You got Ryan O'Reilly.
Rawr.
He's doing well this year. And then little toss in, Carey Price.
See, I get why you did this trade. And I know, so I'm well aware of the fact. Can we talk about all the aspects that I know about this trade? Is this public knowledge?
It's not public knowledge to the guy that we traded with, and he's probably not going to be happy with me when this becomes public knowledge.
Okay, so Joel would have done this trade without Carey Price in it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, also without Varlamov.
Right, like you leave the goalies out, so it would have been like what? It would have been Ovi, Perry, Provorov, Raquel for Oshie, Ryan O'Reilly, Morgan Rielly, and Johnny Gaudreau, which is nuts. That's crazy.
No, it's not nuts. Trust me. Perry and Provorov. Carl has this weird love for Provorov. He's gonna be like he's gonna be dropped. He's so not even worth. He's barely worth being owned in this league. So
I would argue that the exact same amount of players that you got are droppable. Morgan Rielly, he won't, and he will be dropped by you before this season is over.
That's fine.
Ryan O'Reilly will be dropped by you by the time this season. Yes.
You are wrong, my friend.
If we look at it like that, sure, you're going to drop Harry, you're going to drop Provorov. You literally did the trade of Ovechkin and Raquel for Oshie and Gaudreau, which is a terrible trade. This trade is only good because you got Carey Price.
Oh, I'm all right. You wait. We made out with bandits. And you're wrong because you are blinded by your love for Alex Ovechkin, who's not gonna. He's gonna be bad the rest of the year. Trust me. And you love Corey Perry for some reason, which is super weird.
Ovechkin, and I don't love. And
you do love Provorov.
I do.
You love Provorov.
I don't love Provorov, but yes, I would not drop him.
He is. Don't you worry. When we win this league, you'd be sad, and you're going to come back and look at this. So, try that. We made out like bandits. We are very happy about this trade.
Well, I'm glad you're happy, and the rest of the league should be glad that the team currently in third place got worse. So,
don't you worry. Don't you worry. Let's put it this way. We did better than the Colorado Avalanche did in the Matt Duchene trade. Much better. We did better than the Colorado Avalanche and Nashville combined.
I don't even know how that trade would work.
I don't know how that trade would work either, but I know that you are just... I'm not sure why you hate this trade so much. I think it's just because you're sad that we did well.
No, I literally... I don't have this opinion just to spite you.
I disagree.
You can think that all you want, but quite literally, if you were to do this trade without Carey Price in it, that is terrible.
I don't think you realize how bad Corey Perry is. I'm not really sure why you think it's so bad, though. Because, you really think that, Raquel and Ovi are going to be just, phenomenal this year? Because, let's leave the defensemen out. Because the defensemen in fantasy hockey are useless.
The defensemen in this are a wash, right? Because, Provorov and Morgan Rielly, sure. Both of them very well could be dropped before this season is out.
Yeah.
Both. And if you think Corey Perry is droppable, which, I would personally give him a much longer leash than you are willing to.
He's currently the 240th player.
There are much worse players owned. He scored his last game.
Oh, that makes two.
Every player that you traded got points since you've traded them.
That's okay.
Except for Provorov.
Don't you worry. We'll be fine. You're just going to be, you're unhappy because we're going to win.
No. So, we've spent enough time on this. Nonetheless, Joel made a trade. Good for him. He's happy.
Carl is not, because we got better.
No, it's just I don't feel the great need right now to explain to you why you're wrong.
Oh, because I'm not wrong.
Listeners, let us know. You can tell us who's right. Like, did Joel win this trade? Is he as wrong as I think he is? Let us know on the Twitters at Fourth Line Podcast, or you can email us, mail at thefourthlinepodcast.com. Joel.
Yeah.
This is when I stall and try to come up with something to talk about.
Oh, we should probably... No, we're going to do our high-staking games.
Is there any other... We're at what? 45 odd minutes? 50 minutes? 50 minutes.
51 minutes.
I think I started my second go-around at 3, so yeah, we're at 50. Is there anything else worth talking about? I know there is. Is there
Yeah.
Let me see here. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, it's a good thing we paused.
Why?
I don't know, I hear beeping.
Yeah.
Your microwave.
It's the laundry.
Oh. I can't think of anything right now.
Let's just do our high staking.
Okay.
We recap the high staking from last week, then we go home.
Okay. Sounds good.
That'll be fine.
Okay. Well, instead of listening to Joel go on about his fantasy hockey greatness, let's go to high sticking.
I love how you call me out for going on about the trade. We spend far less time about my trade than we did about your trade.
Well, that happened in like actual hockey.
It's true, but this affects the fourth line. This is so.
It affects literally dozens of people. That is accurate.
It's true. Basically, you want to know the other big reason why we did this trade?
Just to spite me?
No, because we were bored. The league's pretty boring right now.
There's a ton of action on the waiver wire. No trades yet. Joel, you just wanted to spice it up?
Yeah.
It's
a
mediocre reason to do a trade.
Yeah. Well, we're still gonna win, but yeah, we were bored. I sent messages to a bunch of people in the league, and I was like, "This is boring. Let's make a trade." Ben stepped up to the plate. I'm very happy about it.
Oh yeah, we did not acknowledge your trade member, Mr. Ben.
Yeah. So, but when Carey Price comes back and does really well, brings the Habs into the playoffs like he always does. See, that's the thing. This is a win-win for me. Carey Price does terrible the rest of the year, I'm happy. Carey Price does really well for the rest of the year, I'm happy. It's a win-win for me.
Okay, well, I know which win you'll be getting, and it is the Habs out of the playoffs, so enjoy. High sticking. Do you want to crown a winner?
Sure.
All right. It was tight. Came down to the wire. There was multiple lead changes over the last week of the season. However, the winner was... Do you want to drum roll this? Jonathan Kirkland.
Johnny K.
At Canes Hockey 06. One of my fellow Carolina Hurricanes fans. Congratulations on your first ever high-staking victory.
There you go. Congrats.
Just snuck out over friend of the show, Chad, and other friend of the show, Nick Sagan.
There you go. What does he win? A stick?
He gets to pick. He's never won either, so if he wants a stick, he gets a stick. If he wants a puck, he gets a puck.
There you go. I like it.
And can go back again for this next go-around, which will be for the rest of November. We'll be going till... What is the last Monday there? We'll be going till September the December, not September. Months are hard, Joel.
Yeah, we should go to December 4th.
December 4th, that's when we're going till. So this is going to be a longer one. But yeah, he's in. He can win it again, win himself a mini stick, and he'll be good to go. So he will be the one of the very few owners, proud owners, of one of these bad boys. Which you can't even see because I shut my monitor and you don't.
I was going to say, I was like, I'm currently looking at Carl's stomach.
It's a great stomach. It has, what did I have I had sandwiches for dinner.
There you go. You know how you win that puck?
I don't.
Is you pick the game-winning goal from our Pavel Bure of the week.
What's a Pavel Bure of the week?
Well, Pavel Bure was this amazing player that you just always had to watch, and so we choose games that are somewhat marginally good to watch.
Sometimes we pick Leafs games, and then we say, this homerness, meh.
Carl's just anti-Joel tonight. I don't like this, Carl.
It's...
You don't like my fantasy trade, getting all on me about the Leafs. I don't like this, Carl. I'm not happy about it.
I don't have much to offer you for help.
So you're probably going to pick Arizona versus Pittsburgh as the game on Tuesday.
That's not true.
Well, then what are you going to pick?
What I want to pick is the Edmonton Oilers going to visit Mr. Jordan Eberle and his friends in New York.
That's a terrible game. You're not actually picking that, are you?
That's what I want to pick. Yeah,
fine.
That is what I would be watching that game. What would you pick?
Not that.
Because the only other game that would be like Nashville
Flames
Columbus.
Canucks. That would be a good game.
No one.
Both teams are fighting for the playoffs.
No, Joel. This is not the time of the year where like they're in a playoff battle. No,
those are rivals, man.
Yeah, but
watch that than the Oilers. They're the worst team in the league almost.
None of these players on the Canucks or the Flames, I guess some of the Flames were there. None of these Canucks were with the team when they were rivals.
The Canucks?
Yeah.
Like the Sedins?
They're barely there anymore. The Canucks are playing right now. They're going to turn around and hop on a plane and fly to Calgary for a back-to-back tomorrow. No, that game will be terrible.
Fine. Then so you got that useless game that we have to watch. Wednesday is not much better.
Okay.
I'm going to watch the Sportsnet game of the week, Wednesday night hockey, but you choose this. I don't even care.
Well, there's only 3 games. Boston versus the Rangers. Those are 2 teams that are meh at best.
I'm not watching that game. That was a terrible game.
So it leaves us with Tampa versus San Jose or Minnesota versus Toronto.
It's probably Tampa versus San Jose. San Jose's playing better lately.
Yeah, they've turned it around. Your Martin Jones' diary, when he gets home after every game and he writes in his diary, he says, "Dear diary, I was good tonight. Love you, Martin."
So, by the way, I texted Tiny Mike saying that you didn't like I trade, and he texted back saying, well, Carl will just be sad when we're skyrocketing up the standings. So take that, Carl. Not only are you anti-Joel, you're anti-Mike.
Don't tell Mike. I'm probably more anti-Mike than I am anti-Joel.
Wow.
These are the things that I can say when he's not here to defend himself. I like Mike. Mike's been very busy right now. I kind of miss that guy.
What are you doing? What did you choose for Wednesday?
I went with Tampa, San Jose. You get to pick Thursday.
Okay. Can I pick Thursday and Friday? I'm going to pick both games.
Sure, do it.
Did 2 in a row. So I'm going to do 2 in a row. We're Chicago, Philly. That seems like a good game.
It's probably like the Thursday night rivalry, right?
Yeah. What's Tampa, San Jose's Wednesday night rivalry?
No, it's Boston, New York.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
They're both on NBC, though.
Oh, NBC.
That's all I saw it was on NBC. So they're doing doubleheader on NBC. There you go. Okay. Chicago, Philly. Then Friday. I don't know. Let's do, I guess it's got to be your team. I just hit my mic with a hockey stick.
I didn't want to tell you to pick that, but yeah. Matt Duchene against Colorado in Sweden.
Fine.
Noon Friday. So if you've got Friday off, I know a lot of people do have Friday off in Canada. Honoring Remembrance Day. It's on Saturday. A lot of people getting Friday off.
I have Friday off. I always have Friday off, though.
It's not, yeah. All right, Saturday, Joel. We picked my team Saturday. What do you want to do we picked my team Friday. What do you want to do Saturday? You pick Saturday.
Okay, fine. We'll do... There's a lot of terrible games.
There's some good ones. There's like a Stanley Cup rematch.
Have we done the Stanley Cup rematch yet?
I don't think so.
You want to pick that?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Nashville, Pittsburgh, which leaves us to Sunday, which there's a surprisingly large slate of games on Sunday.
We're gonna double dip here.
A double dip on Sunday?
Well, yeah, because we picked all those teams at least once.
When you said double dip, I thought you meant like there's gonna be 2 games picked, and I was like, there's not that many games that are that great that require that. Do you want Battle of California?
Yeah. No, Tampa, Anaheim. That's the better game.
I like that game. I would watch that.
And then let's take Monday off. Let's not pick any of those games. They're terrible. Nobody watch that. Listen to our show. Watch Monday Night Football.
All right. Yeah, because everyone really wants to watch the Dolphins versus the Panthers on Monday night.
Is that the game?
Yeah, that's the game next Monday.
You know what? Spend time with your family. Hey! Look at us. Family men.
Yeah. And then listen to our show. We'll be here for you. Well, Joel, hopefully over the next week we can sort out our quarrel, come to terms with the trade, the other trade, everything else we disagreed on this week.
It was a disagreeing show. I don't think we're over. We should keep talking.
Do we want to sort this out right now?
Sort what out?
I don't know. Our quarrel.
No, I don't.
Okay.
We'll get over it.
All right.
I think we're just upset because we're not together yet. We're knowing that it's... Did you know that December 4th, the last night where we give out the high sticking, that's going to be my first episode in Calgary.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll have some eggnog. Sing
Eggnog's
some Christmas
gross.
carols. Look,
Ew.
Joel, of all of the things that you have said this week, I don't have the energy to argue how great eggnog is with you, but do know that I already have a container of it in my fridge.
Ew.
Nonetheless, if you want to play high sticking, we told you our must-watch games of the week. Some of them, a little lukewarm. Pavel Bure is not actually playing in any of them, so we couldn't give like a super ringing endorsement. But if he was, we would pick him every night, which would be disappointing. Hey, watch the Panthers every night of the week.
No, Canucks of the 90s. Okay. Canucks of the 90s.
That's our chosen. I support that. Anyways, head over to Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast, Facebook.com/The Fourth Line Podcast, and thefourthlinepodcast.com, where you can find great articles by the likes of Michael Laybourne, Joseph Martini, Alex Watson. The crew over there do great work. You can read their work. I'm just going to keep saying the word work.
Work.
We also want to mention the fine folks over at the Alberta Podcast Network, a whole bunch of new shows over there. So if you're looking for new shows, new podcasts, listen to, head over there, especially if you want to support some local Alberta shows. If you're from Alberta, if you're not from Alberta, that's not local for you, but you should still head over there and check them out. Lots of great new shows being added to the network. One of them, Makeshift Stories. You can head over to makeshiftstories.com and find out everything you want over there. Someone has described them as a slightly gentler but equally insightful Twilight Zone, which I feel is a great description. So head over there to makeshiftstories.com, a sci-fi show where they, go through, if you're a fan of the Twilight Zone, you'll like this show. If you're a fan of sci-fi or storytelling, you'll like this show as well. So head over there. A shout out over to Alan and his great work on that show. So tune in. Head over to our Patreon. Thank you to everyone who supports us over there. We just had barbecue cooking article come out. Chili.
Yeah, because it's cold.
It snowed in Calgary this week, and so we busted out the chilies.
It snowed in Nanaimo this week.
That's probably worse. Although I'm not even going to tell you how cold it was because you might not move here.
I was looking at like fleece hoodies today.
I might have to go buy a scarf.
I bought a toque, and for all our American fans, a beanie.
I don't own a scarf, and now I walk a lot more outside. It's not okay. My face gets cold. I either need to grow a Joel-sized beard or buy a scarf, and I grow a terrible beard.
I told Mike that you said something mean about him. He is very angry. So that's about. I'm gonna leave because I'm
gonna go. I have to go put out a fire. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back next week with more of what's happened. Maybe something crazy will happen. Someone will make a trade, or we'll just be back to talk about how terrible the Oilers are again. So until then, see you later.
Boom City.